Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing great today. Okay, so real quick, it's just a lot that I want to share with us. So much has happened. For those of you on YouTube, I want you to know that something happened, and this is why you haven't seen me in a while. After the last video I posted to expose the GMO thing that has been going on, which we've been waging a campaign against, I just, you know, showed up on my YouTube the next time around to upload a video. And all of a sudden I was told that I couldn't upload a video, that I had been given a strike. And so I rushed over to see if there was an email to the effect of why I got a strike. And I found out that there was nothing. It was just a copyright claim on a video that I had removed since 2023. And there was nothing else. No other email from YouTube, nothing, absolutely nothing. A copyright claim. And I was told in the same email that this is not a strike. It has nothing to do with anything, but I was not allowed to upload a video. And so that's why you haven't seen me. I guess by now they have been able to lift it. I think it's about a week now. Just so you know that the battle we are waging is against the forces of darkness. These things happen all the time. I'm always upfront with you, let you know that whenever you see us doing this, it's not because I don't have something to do. People who know me know that I am one of the busiest human beings you've ever met in your entire life. Every time, every single minute or second I squeeze into this, it is just the grace of God. I'm not doing this for money or for anything. Someone was asking me the other day, I said, oh, wow, you must be making a lot of money on Twitter or X. And I laughed because up until this very moment, I don't even have my account set up to receive any money on X. I've never received a dime. Like the Stripe account is not even set up at all as I speak to you right now. And for those of you who know my story with YouTube, I was fighting like this on YouTube for 7 whole years until someone actually called me. He said, God told me to come and help monetize your channel for you, to work for you, to do something for you on his own. I was just going solo without any monetization. So when you see me do the things I do, it is not for money, it is not for fame, it is not for anything. So when we're telling you to pay attention, you know that we mean what we are saying. It is not to get impressions on social media. It is not to get noticed on social media. It is not to make money on social media. It is because God has laid this huge burden on somebody's heart and say, go and tell my people. You see what has been going on. If you follow me on X, you see how many people we have woken up and how much attack we have faced as well. But you know the good news? They're talking about it right now. They're going on television. They're going on radio, trying to defend the indefensible, trying to defend the massacre, the slow killing, the slow mass murder that is taking place from all this GMO rubbish that they are unleashing on our people. Just turn on the news and you will see. But you can actually look things up on your own. Just go type stuff about GMO. Go look it up and see how many countries around the world have banned this thing. We keep talking about Russia. We keep talking about more than half of Europe. They have all banned it. Why? Do you know that if you are a farmer on the continent of Africa and you intend to ship your farm produce to Europe, that you cannot ship GMO to Europe? Are you aware of that? They even have European biotech labs in Africa, in Nigeria. You will find them in Lagos. The head office is in Europe, but they have satellite companies in Nigeria. And what are they doing? They are not there to test your food that you are importing from overseas to see if they are GMO. They are testing the ones you want to ship abroad to know if it is GMO. And when they test it and find out it is GMO, you cannot ship it. But they can ship to you and you don't have any lab to tell you that these things they are importing are GMOs. Because what we told you from the beginning is true. It's a mass depopulation agenda. I want to play you a video where they actually covered a statement from one of the directors at Nigeria's Biotechnology Research and Development Agency. One of those directors said with her own mouth that GMO seeds are vaccines, edible vaccines.
In a highly contentious public debate with health, environmental, and agricultural experts, the director of the National Biotechnology Research and Development Agency, Mrs. Rose Gidado, made a controversial claim that the genetically modified organism seeds are edible vaccines. The contentious claim was made during a 3-hour webinar titled CSO's Discourse in Biotechnology and GMO's Application in Nigeria's Agricultural System last month and organized by the Center for 21st Century Issues. During the webinar, Gidado presented a slide highlighting the supposed benefits of GMOs, including an increase in the shelf life of fruits and vegetables by delayed ripening, conferring resistance to insects, pests, and viruses, tolerance to abiotic stresses such as drought, salt, waterlogging, herbicide tolerance, and edible vaccines. However, Gidado inexplicably omitted a crucial part of her presentation, which claimed GMOs are edible vaccines, leaving many questioning the NBRDA's transparency. This came amidst a rising demand for answers from Nigerians who feel their health, food security, and sovereignty are being threatened by foreign corporate bodies. Also, she maintained that introducing genetically modified seeds is safe, despite contrary scientific research proving otherwise. Meanwhile, over 16 countries have banned the commercialization of GMO seeds, while others merely restricted their use to laboratory research only. It will be recalled that West Africa Weekly reported that the federal government approved the commercialization of the GMO variety named telomerase, an approval which sparked and continues to fuel a debate on its safety.
So, she already told the truth. She told the truth. Edible vaccines. And then she had to walk it back afterwards. But she already told you the truth because this is what is going on. Edible vaccines. Because there is so much vaccine hesitancy in Africa. Remember when COVID-19 happened? Africans refused to take vaccines because we have read up on so many things that have happened to people who took these things in the past. Because there was no way we could just get ourselves to believe that people like Bill Gates, who wants to mass depopulate the world through vaccines from his own submission, would love us so much as to give us vaccines that would do us good. It's just common sense. And so vaccine hesitancy is at its all-time high on the continent of Africa. Wouldn't it be scientifically wise then to devise means of getting the same vaccines that will sterilize our women and make our men impotent to people through the things they eat? This didn't come from me. It came from a director who later walked it back. It wasn't a slip of tongue. She had said it clearly, emphatically, and then walked it back. You saw that video of Gates, right? Where he said, if we do a really good job with vaccines and reproductive health and all of those things, we could lower world population by about 10 to 15%.
So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to zero. That's back from high school algebra. But let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Hold up. What?
And in case you don't think that what that lady said was not a mistake, let me play you another video about Bill Gates' GMO mosquitoes. Bill Gates again. This man is a hero to so many people in Africa. They love him. They don't like anyone speaking against him. Bill Gates again. GMO mosquitoes. For crying out loud. GMO, genetically modified mosquitoes. Watch.
Genetically modified mosquitoes have gotten the green light to be released in America. They say these mosquitoes, they don't bite people, they just mate with the females, and they're modified so that the offspring die off. The lethality gene they put in, it actually doesn't kill all the mosquitoes. It only kills the females. The males go on living. In other words, the GMO mosquitoes do bite humans. Some of the programs are about using the mosquitoes for other things, like vaccinating people against their will. In September 2022, NPR declared that the researchers had successfully vaccinated people using these GMO mosquitoes. One of the lead scientists on the program told the publication that we use the mosquitoes like they're 1,000 small flying syringes.
So at the end of the day, what are we dealing with? The same vaccine. Mosquitoes now have become like syringes carrying the vaccines, and they are vaccinating you. And because they're genetically modified, they can add any form of vaccine, lethal, whatever, in these mosquitoes. And this time they don't need to beg you and say, please come and take your vaccines. You will just be there. The vaccine will be given to you without your own permission. And this thing is being released in parts of the world. This thing is being released even in some parts of Africa, as I've heard. And people are keeping quiet and taking money. Africans. Why do we hate ourselves so much? During the time of slavery, Africans were selling Africans. And then to Africans, and then to Africans, and then finally to the white man. As soon as we see money, we are ready to betray ourselves. We are ready to kill ourselves. Who did this to us? Why would any human being, any African that sucked his or her mother's breast well, have anything to do with Bill Gates on the continent of Africa? Let alone defending him or anything he's doing anywhere. This is all about mass depopulation. The man has told you with his own mouth. The man has said clearly that they want to switch us over to eating artificial meat. And they say, why? He said that cows are farting too much, and that the farting of cows is producing methane. That is a dangerous greenhouse gas that is not good for climate change. You see, climate change is a coinage that reflects the satanic agenda to destroy our world and hand it over to Lucifer when you hear it. That's why he is talking about methane, and there are people who have come up with actually scientific proofs that methane is actually good for the climate. So a cow is farting. The way you fart, Nigeria, they say you mess. A cow's messing or farting is why Bill Gates wants to end cows and change them, genetically modify them, or we will switch over to artificial meat. And to tell you how wicked these people are, they've already started producing the artificial meat and getting permissions for them to be released in supermarkets, in stores around the world.
Cows and other grass-eating species have a digestion system that emits methane. And methane is a very powerful greenhouse gas. And so cows alone account for about 6% of global emissions. And so we need to change cows, just cows alone.
How are we going to do that?
Well, actually, of all the categories the one that has gone better than I would have expected 5 years ago is this work to make what's called artificial meat. And so you have people like Impossible or Beyond Meat, both of which I invested in.
You eat it as well, and you like it?
Absolutely.
You do.
You can go to Burger King and buy the Impossible Burger.
All right. Is it healthier for you or just healthier for the atmosphere?
It's slightly healthier for you in terms of less cholesterol. It's, of course, dramatic reduction in methane emissions, animal cruelty, manure management, and the pressure that meat consumption puts on land use.
Before you know it, African leaders will collect money too and introduce that to us, despite the abundance of organic foods that we can't even go around, we can't even name them all, that nature, that God has blessed us with on the continent of Africa. Organic animals, organic fowls, chickens. In Nigeria and most parts of Africa today, people don't even know what our local chickens taste like anymore. No more. It's all these ones that they immunize and they use chemicals and GM foods to raise and all kinds of stuff. And you wonder why we have so many diseases everywhere in Africa. You wonder why men have become extremely impotent nowadays. Many men now live literally on sex enhancement drugs because they are either suffering from weak or non-existent erection. Our women, have you seen the rate at which IVF is happening everywhere? Do you know how many women in Africa today that are carrying lumps in their breasts, cancer lumps? Do you know how many people who are carrying tumors, just like the rats that were fed GMO foods? It's a scientific thing that you can look up online. They were fed GMO food over time, and before you know it, cancer tumors grew in them. Heavy, massive cancer tumors. And this is what is happening to humanity. Just because the thing kills slowly, it takes its time to wreak havoc on your health. You ignore it and you don't care. And people are not rising up everywhere and screaming. How can you see something like this happening and people are not screaming and shouting these demons down? Go to the radio, go to TV, go to anywhere, go to newspaper and protest this thing. Speak up. God help us. I wish I had so much time. I wish I wasn't so busy. I want to put more time than I am putting into this now, but what if everybody will get involved? What if you can now say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to get a large expanse of land and unleash our local chickens there? What if we say, okay, let's go ahead now and get farms and plant only organic seeds there? Do you know how dangerous it is to have these people planting GMOs around you? I've explained this in my previous videos. It is not only that they are planting poisons that will destroy us over time, they are also destroying the potentiality for all the other organic farms to thrive. Because when you have a GMO farm close to an organic farm, there will be a cross-pollination that will go and pollinate the organic farm. Pollination will take place from this particular GM farm. It will cross, the pollens will cross over and pollinate with the organic farms and turn them into GMOs. That's how dangerous these things are. And we have also explained how that if we continue to do this, we are going to be dependent on the people who make these GMOs, because their job is to turn off the nutrients and the genes inside of these seeds and reduce the number of nutrients that the seeds originally came with and release them to you. So it is patented. They own it. So when you finish farming, you have to go back to them to collect another. Is it that you're going to collect seed from them or you're going to collect chemicals from them? Because there are two kinds. There's one that the seed cannot reproduce itself. And that one has been engineered to carry pesticide inside of it. That's what you're eating. and it cannot reproduce itself. But there's another one that can reproduce itself, but that one cannot produce anything unless you use that dangerous chemical that the same group of people are giving you to be able to activate the reproductive functions of that particular seed. Chemicals have to be applied on it externally before it can produce anything for you. So whichever way you look at it, is either the pesticide is already engineered inside of it, or it is poured on top of it, and it then assimilates it and still takes it in. So no matter how you look at it, you are eating poison. My goodness. But we have freely existing, naturally existing organic crops. Why do we have to go through all this trouble for something that will kill us? And we have people with straight faces going on TV, like the director of the National Biotech Research or whatever that I hear, he went on Arise TV recently to go and talk and defend this. People have lost every sense of shame in this world. What are you defending? You say that this is to help with increased yield. Russia banned GMOs in 2016. By 2016, Russia was the world leading exporter of wheat. About 22 point something million tons exported yearly. By 2024, 8 years after, Russia is still the leading exporter of organic wheat, in the whole world, not just organic. Russia, as at 2024, is still the leading exporter of wheat after banning GMOs for 8 years. Where is the increased yield affecting Russia? They have been planting organic, and they are still the leading exporters in the world. No one has surpassed them. No organic farm of wheat has surpassed Russia till this day. Why are they lying always to us? And we buy their lies. There's nothing like increased yield. It is all about national security and control. That's why when Russia banned, it says it's as a matter of extreme urgency that borders around national security. Because when you give the power to produce food to anyone, you have sold your birthright. You have sold even your right to exist to that person. What is so difficult? What is too complex to understand here? I have no idea. I have no idea. Other than may God help all of us. Thank you.